Hello, everyone, and thank you once again for joining us at our very first webinar. As some of you know, India Foundation for the Arts is a grant-making organization, and over the last 25 years, we have made over 600 grants to projects across the country, across disciplines, across languages. And these are projects that have focused on journeys which tell stories that normally get ignored or silenced or erased from history. And artists, scholars, researchers, various kinds of practitioners have been with us as part of this journey. Now, other than making grants and enabling some of these projects, what IFA also does is that we share the incredible work that our grantees do through different events, and that too across the country. However, since the lockdown, as you know, there's been a ban on assembly and on coming together, on collectively experiencing this. So we did something called a listening post from IFA, where we invited artists from around the country to come and tell us, their concerns that they were facing during this time for their own practice and for the larger ecology of the arts. But we also asked them to give us suggestions. What should IFA do? What should our role be? And one of the suggestions that we got was that people really enjoyed and got enriched by the work that our grantees do and when we shared them at events. So we were told, why don't you do it online? Why don't you share the work your grantees do on a webinar platform? And we thought that was a really useful suggestion. So we said, okay, and this is our first webinar. We created something called Throwback Thursdays with IFA. And every alternate Thursday, we are going to come to you at this time, 6 to 7 o'clock, sharing with one of our grantees, sharing one of the projects. And just to tell you that at the end of the presentation today, there is going to be time for questions and answers. Now, as attendees, you will see two kinds of symbols at the bottom of your screen. One will be one which says Q&A. So if you have questions, you will need to put it into that box, and you can do that anytime during the presentation. Just say who you're asking that question to. So there will be multiple panelists. Just say who the question is for. There is another box, which is the chat box. I would request you not to put this, put your questions in the chat box. That's meant more for conversation. You have a suggestion, you have a story to say, you want to share something or comment on something, keep it there. But we are not going to look at the chat box for questions. As you know, this conversation is now live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. And if you're watching it there, then please put down your comments at the comment section under that. And one of my colleagues is going to pick that question up and share it with us here. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic, so to say, to the next box, Sumana. Sumana Chandrasekhar is my colleague at IFA. She looks after this specific program under which this grant project will be discussed today. She is also the program lead at IFA. So Sumana, over to you.
Thanks, Arundhati. Namaskara and a very good evening to all the viewers, all of you who are watching us here on Zoom, on Facebook, and on YouTube. This grant, as you all know, is made under Project 560. And I'd like to briefly tell you what Project 560 is. Some of you might already know, or some of you might have guessed. Project 560 derives its name from 560, which is the first 3 digits of Bangalore's PIN code. And Project 560 is a grant program of the IFA that is especially meant for Bangalore. Through this, IFA is committed to a long-term continuous engagement with the city through multi-pronged strategies. And the program encourages artists, institutions working in the arts or through the arts, and all citizens of Bangalore to engage artistically with spaces, with histories, with people, or even the idea of Bangalore. So in 2018, IFA supported Purnima Sukumar to create a year-long series of curated artistic and cultural engagements under Project 560. And this is the exciting project that we are all going to listen to this evening. Purnima is a muralist and she is the founder of the Aravani Art Project, which is a collective movement to enable the transgender community through art awareness and social participation. Thank you very much, Purnima, for joining us today. Along with Purnima, we also have a few other members of the Aravani Art Project. Two of them will also be presenting along with Purnima. We have Chandri, and we have Shanti Muniswamy. Shanti is an artist and a blogger, and she's been part of the Aravani Art Project. She is also into painting. She is also a part-time poet and a full-time dreamer. Welcome, Shanti. Thank you for joining us. The other presenter is also going to be Chandri. Chandri is another artist with the Aravani Art Project, and she is also somebody who loves to paint. She loves spending time with her family. Thank you, Chandri, for being with us this evening. The other members of the Aravani Art Project, Sandhya, Tara, Shweta, and Sadhana are also here with us. Thanks so much. Thank you, the entire Aravani team that's here. We eagerly look forward to hearing all the stories from all of you. Thanks so much, and over to Purnima.
Hello, all of you. I hope you can hear me. With great difficulty, we've had everybody from the team, not everybody, unfortunately, but as much as we could, somehow fit in the Zoom into their phones, and they've all come miraculously on screen. I'm really excited. This is the first time I'm doing this with my team without being in front of them. Thank you all for coming, first of all, for being here and for listening to us. I'm going to quickly jump into the project, and I'm going to share screen with the presentation that is to follow now. So you can all see all the beautiful things that we've done. Yeah. So I just wanted to pass it to Shanti in the first, just for her to explain how we went about discussing about this project and the grant and how it all came together. Even before we got the grant, how excited we were to explore Bangalore as a city, especially with the lens from the people of the transgender community. And it was exciting for them because they haven't seen the spaces and the things they do as a form of art, or they've not thought of it as or given it as much importance as we started to give. So over to Shanti right now, just to give us a brief introduction to how this whole thing came together.
Namaste. First of all, thank you to IFA for giving us the 560 project 560 grant, and sorry, this is outside. And last year was amazing working with the project 560. And 7-8 events every month. There will be an event, and it was very interesting. And especially it was very interesting because we are sharing our Bangalore, and yeah.
Shanti, done?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes. So, okay, I'll continue. So, we started a small group of 5 people. To our Shanti. we formed a small group of 5 people who would actually be the people who would give us the stories, and we started giving the responsibilities to the trans people to head the project, to lead these projects. And unfortunately, we are in the middle of a lockdown. We have 3 more to go, but we have successfully completed 7. Can I continue?
Yeah, because we are having little technical problem here. So,
Okay, I'll talk. I'll continue. Firstly, I think the first ever mural that we created with a figurative, form was in Bangalore, and it was titled Navu Devi in 2016. Aravani Art Project started in 2016 Jan, and we had the privilege of painting a huge wall in Majestic in Dhanvantri Underpass, and this was the start of Navu Devi as a movement. Um, the statement was uh, after a series of discussion with people from the community, they felt the need to address that they existed as the most basic undertone to everything that we were doing. So we thought we'll use the same name for the projects for IFA as well. And what was beautiful about the project was that we had a lot of exploration. Even within the community, a lot of stories that were shared by people were not known to each other from the community itself. And that was what was really exciting. And we moved on and we had a lot of discussions about what we could start, what were the events we could do. And since we had only 10 events, it seemed like it was really less, but now we know that it's a lot more. Um, it was nice to discuss and come to conclusions about doing, like creating other forms of art, exploring other forms of art, because as you all know, we are mostly into public wall murals. So this was a very, very interesting opportunity for all of us in the team to be to explore more forms of art, and that allowed us to do so much more. We had walks, we had audio talks, we had a play. So we explored as many art forms as possible. We hope to do more. So I'm moving to the first event that we did in January last year, 2019. The first event was taken lead by Purushi, one of our members. Unfortunately, she's in her village, so she's not used to Zoom. uh, so we explored her neighborhood by inviting Goddess Yellama to her house, and the entire neighborhood, all her streets, everybody participated in this, and it was an extremely beautiful collaboration with the Urban Folk Project with Shilpa Muddi, and it couldn't get better. I wish you all were there present to see what happened on Sankranti Day. But if there, I would like Shanti to elaborate a little more about what we did.
hello.
Yes, Shanti, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. So, should I talk about this event that went?
About, yeah.
This event, Navu Idvi, was the first event, and the lead was Purushi. Purushi is in a village, so she couldn't talk more. So every event we had one person to take the lead on the project. So this was taken by Purushi, and this is about uh, Goddess Ellama, celebrating Goddess Ellama, or welcoming Goddess Ellama to their houses, to the transgender houses in Purushi. So it is the procession that went through, which was covered.
Okay, Shanti. So what was beautiful about this was that we got to decorate all the streets, and it was very automatic for us to notice the juxtapose of how people were viewing the people from the community in the limelight of a goddess, and at the same time there were situations where we could see how the patriarchal eye was uh, being, I mean, like looking at them in a very different perspective. So we could see both these perspectives in, I would say, and that's what was interesting for me particularly, to notice these changes in people's attitude as and when required. The people were goddesses or people were sex workers. So it was very interesting for me to witness this change in the in the atmosphere. Uh, then soon enough, after the first project finished, we wanted to do the second project in Cubbon Park on Valentine's Day, because we felt, all of us felt the necessity and the need to share love stories that happened within the people from the community. And it was really interesting because, as you know, how the mainstream media is only focusing on, a lot of difficult and troubling times from the community. Very rarely do we get to see the beautiful side and listen to stories that are experienced by them, especially in a space like Cubbon Park. Since we know Cubbon Park so well, all of us, that's what we think. It was extremely what do I say, exciting to know a different part of Cubbon Park altogether. And I'm going to move to Chandri. I hope they have network. Chandri. So I'm going to continue until Chandri gets some network. What we designed in Cubbon Park after a series of recce, I'm sorry, after a series of recce was that we we collaborated with Avril. We converted all their stories into like small performances, and Avril was directing and helping us channelize the whole thing. And Sadhna curated the entire walk. She went on several walks into Cubbon Park, and each time we walked, it automatically happened that each one from the trans community had a spot already in Cubbon Park where they shared a beautiful story, where they shared some memory, or they've given of love, of sex, because there was a lot of uh, times where that was the space for sex work and for a lot of like-minded people to meet. So it was really interesting for us, since we had people from the community who were 60 years old, who shared her story about coming out and how difficult it was those days in Bangalore to be out, and also the difficulties of now being so open and trans visibility increasing, the difficulties and the pros and cons of both. We got permission with great difficulty in Cubbon Park, and it got pushed by an entire month, but it gave us enough time to explore more. We time and time again, when we were discussing stories, the only thing that they were mentioning constantly was how many of these trees in Cubbon Park know our stories. We've cried to these trees, or we've laughed with these trees. They know our secrets. They've seen so much, or they've heard so much. So we felt so much weightage with all the trees that were around, that we hung eyes and ears on the trees. Again, it was a discussion all of us had, and we came up with that. You can see this beautiful setup that we had, and it was a very beautiful walk. I wish we can do it again whenever Cubbon Park opens. Each person narrated their love story, or their story of violence with the cops, or their story with a heartbreak, uh, or their space where they used to do sex work. Each of their stories was connected to each other, and they one passed it on to the other. And it was a very beautiful walk. Yeah, it was a lot of people to handle. The next event, Shanti, are you there? Shanti? Okay, I'm just going to move on. The next event was a very interesting event. It was in a place called Bannerghatta in Bangalore. Uh, a lot of people don't know that Bannerghatta has a very big jatre, or a fest that happens. And essentially, it's a lot more famous within the community, and we had the privilege of going here. What we wanted to do here was to have a photo walk, but we wanted something different here. We wanted the trans women themselves to document the festival. and create their own narratives about a festival that was for them. It was a very interesting process. We also had photographers apply to us to come for the walk, and we told them that their photographs will be, in collaboration with the people from our team. And it was very, very interesting to hear all of them talk about how they felt being behind the camera and not being the subject for a change. And it was so beautiful, especially the picture with Shanti. Uh, every time she took a picture of somebody, she would make sure she goes to them and shows it to them and tells them that she's part of the community, and that they're doing something exciting like this and that they've never done this before. It was really heartwarming. And Bannerghatta Jatre is a lot about celebrating sisterhood and friendship. What happens on the eve of the Jatre is that bangle sellers from all over Karnataka, Tamil Nadu border, they all come for the Jatre, and uh, each one shows their love to each other. The sisterhood is shared by putting bangles for each other. And more about that on our, it's already there on our Instagram page. There are photographs and there are lots of narratives that we have written about the entire project, about this event. These were some of the pictures that were clicked by the people from the community. Like I said, there's a storm outside. These were clicked by them, and we are really looking forward to put all of these up, at an exhibit or anywhere that we could, as soon as this lockdown is lifted. It was really interesting for me, per se, to see how differently they see their own festival, and how interesting it is for us to allow, if in our terms, marginalized community to, to make their own narrative, to act creative, to be creative within their own approach. um, and all of them participated with us, danced with us, and stayed with us. The event went on for 2 days. Moving on, we moved our fourth event to Balaji Bagh.
Purnima,
Yeah.
I think Harshini, Shanti, Chandri, I think they are online, so they can speak.
Oh, please, that would be
Yeah.
great. I thought because there's a storm happening, maybe Shanti's connection was low. Shanti, please, Chandri, please talk about Bannerghatta Jatri. She's supposed to.
They need to be unmuted. One sec.
Yeah, no problem.
Can somebody please unmute them? Yes.
It's on. ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? Are we audible?
Yes.
Yes. Loudly.
Amazing.
Hi Chandri, loudly please.
ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇತ್ತು, ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ.
ಓಕೆ, ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡು.
ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಚಂದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ. ಬನ್ನೇರುಘಟ್ಟ ಜಾತ್ರೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಬನ್ನೇರುಘಟ್ಟ ಜಾತ್ರೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಆಗೋ ಜಾತ್ರೆ ಅದು. ಇಡೀ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಾಗಿರೋ ಜನ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ಇರೋ ಜನ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಜನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಸೇರಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೀತಿನ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸಗಳು ಹಂಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಬಳೆಗಳು ಹಾಕೊಂಡು, ಹೂಗಳು ಮುರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಆಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಜಾತ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ. ಆ ಜಾತ್ರೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮೇಯ್ನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫೋಟೋ ಶೂಟ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಜನನು ಫೋಟೋಗಳು ಹೊಡೆದ್ರು, ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಅವರು ಫೋಟೋ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಆ ಫೋಟೋ ಶೂಟ್.
To add with Chandri, this event, like it usually, like we used to go and celebrate and have fun and all, but this time it was like we have to document it all, and that felt really happy to me because we are doing something, that's documented, and after some year people might see what's happening there, because except us, nobody else would have known that we trans community from Bangalore would go there and do and be in this cultural event that was going on. And also I felt very happy documenting, taking pictures and all. And when we went together, like when we are in the community, it was like we could face anything. For example, if some mob chases, we could just chase them away. But this time they were this 4 photographers, women, so each one of us would take care of them, and it was quite a difficult task, but we all enjoyed it at the end. It was fun.
ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೈಟ್ ಹೋದ್ರಿ, ನೈಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ರೂಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಆ ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳು ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೂವು ಗುಲಾಬ್ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಆಡೋದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಈ ವರ್ಷ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ ಅದು.
Yeah, this year we really missed. Last month was the last month was the Jatra. Due to Corona, it was cancelled. Yeah.
Okay. If for some people who needs translation, Chandri said that the Banarghatta Jatre and the community, they've been together. I mean, it's been going along for many, many years now. And interestingly, this year, I mean, the last year, what was different was that we all documented it, and they had responsibilities, especially to take care of us. Because as people from the community, they have a lot of challenges within the crowds that usually I mean, it's very common, right? Like for us, I'm saying this, but getting felt up or being touched and kidnapping trans women for sex, all of this was some of the things that are very common which happens in the jatre, and they were telling it to us as though it was such a matter of fact, and obviously we were really afraid for them. And they were afraid for us, and that's why they scared us enough so that we were very, very careful. So now moving on successfully to the next project was Balaji Bar. Very interesting according to me. Over several conversations with various people from the community from Bangalore, a lot of times Balaji Bar was one of the names that came up every time we spoke about a safe space, or we spoke about a space where they all met up for birthdays or had parties. Because it's unfortunate that every time they meet in a group, it's always the cops coming and busting them. And I mean, it was interesting for us to understand that a space like this existed, and it's been there for 50 years. So we met trans women who are like going there since 5 decades, brand new trans women who've just entered the city, who've migrated from like smaller villages to Bangalore, who've also gone to Balaji Bar. Plus, people from our own team who've been going to Balaji Bar very regularly for various things. It's also a cruising spot for sex work. It was really interesting to ask the bar owner for a project, and he absolutely didn't allow us to do it. We had to go there several times to please him, and we had to tell him that we're going to repaint your wall if you want us to, as a gratitude. So yeah, I'm going to have Shanti and Chandri also talk to us a little more about the bar and its various underworld activities that used to happen.
So this bar is very ancient bar where we connect, like the community connect, especially. Usually when other trans community migrate from the other state, this is the point where we meet in this bar and meet other trans community, meet them. And this one place uh, is a hub for sex workers. But again, it is a place that is very vulnerable. We felt very happy when Purnima said that we are going to paint this bar. We felt very happy because it connects Bangalore and it connects to our community very closely, even now. And but while painting, the women who wave with us, the clients were like picking them up. It was it was sad, but somehow we managed and we did it.
ಇದು ನಾವು ಪೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಡೈಲಿ ಹೋಗೋರ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಹತ್ರ ಅದು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಗಳನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದೊಂದು ಏರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಿ. ಅದ್ರ ಹೆಸರೇನಮ್ಮ? ಐಪ್ಯಾಡ್. ಅದ್ರ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಕುಡಿಯೋ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಗಳು ಕೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಕುಡಿಯಕ್ ಬರೋರ ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ಪೇಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ ಕಥೆಗಳು ಹೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಜಾಗ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಆ ಮೆಜೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಜನ ದಂಧ ಮಾಡೋ ಜಾಗ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಆದ್ರೆ ಓಡೋಗಿ ಬಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಕುಡಿಯೋದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಪಿಕಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋ ತರ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಆ ತರ ಒಂದು
Yeah, the worst thing that happened was after what we did,
I don't know. They have taken it out now. It is not there, but it was beautiful.
I know. Unfortunately, the
Yeah,
bar people did not want any attention to come to their bar, so they have removed all our paintings. The sad
we have
stories.
to go inside whether we'll get the signal or not. Engineering internal.
Oh, is it raining?
Yeah, it's raining.
Okay. Moving on. Oh, this is the wonderful team that I always fall back on, and they fall on me. We all fall on each other. Uh, okay. So the next event that that happened in between, we had a 2 month break. It was technically not a break, but we were actually practicing and conceptualizing for a play that was coming up next after this event. And we collaborated with Sharanya Ramprakash from Ramanon, and we were preparing for the play for 5 months. So in between, we had some time to take a break. But meanwhile, what we decided to do next was the collaboration with Jayaraj, who is one of very close member to the trans community from many years. He's based in Bangalore, of course, born and brought up in KR Market, Chamrajpet, South Bangalore area, married to somebody called Bhagyamma, who is actually a cis woman. And interestingly, she has adopted herself into the community. Uh, Very interestingly, she told me a story that at a very young age, she ran away from her parents and she came to KR Market, and she sells lemon, and she was with her, she lived with her guardian. And a lot of times when there were very difficult challenges in her life, always a trans woman came to rescue her, and so she felt like she belonged with them and she knew everything about them, and she wanted to be part of their family, so she got adopted into the community. So she knows everything in KR Market. She's like a total dawn woman of KR Market. She sells lemon. We all can go there once and meet her, and nothing in KR Market happens without her notice. She's a very powerful person, and because of a collaboration with her and her husband, we did Karaga as a storytelling and a form in a very challenging space. We got to know through Jairaj that performing Karaga in a graveyard was extremely powerful and meant a lot for the story that he was going to say. And most of the people from the community also shared the same interest, and they told us that performing it in a graveyard was something that that they also look forward to, because uh, there was a lot of, what do I say, relationship that the trans community shared with the graveyard, which I would like Sandhya to talk about, and Shanti might help us translate because Sandhya is going to be talking in Tamil.
Yeah. No, Sandhya can talk in Kannada actually, and she will
Kannada, perfect. Okay.
ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳು.
ಹಾಯ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಸಂಧ್ಯಾ ಅಂತ, ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಸ್ಮಶಾನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಇದಂದ್ರೆ, ಗಂಡಸರು ಹೆಂಗಸರು ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಭಯ ಪಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ದೆವ್ವ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಭಯ ಪಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮಂತವ್ರು ಅದು ಯಾಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಪೊಲೀಸು ಇಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ರೌಡಿನೋ ಯಾರೋ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಚ್ಚಿಕ್ಕೋದು. ಯಾಕೆ ಬಚ್ಚಿಕ್ಕೋದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಭಯ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಧೈರ್ಯ ತರ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಭಯ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನ ಇದೆ, ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಂಬಿಕೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ದೇವೆಲ್ಲ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಂಬಿಕೆ.
Yeah, that's what's yours. Purnima, can you translate it?
Okay, so what Sandhya was trying to say was that graveyard is actually like a safe spot for the people from the community, especially during sex work or during times where people are acting violent towards them. Usually they run into a graveyard and hide there, because a lot of people, especially usual common people, are quite scared to enter a graveyard, and this has become a plus point for them. So if any time at any given point of time they have to hide, or they have to sit in a place where people don't judge them, or they just want to be in a quiet place, usually people from the community hang out at a graveyard, and it's they're so comfortable with it that it is appalling after a point, because they sit on the grave, they have a smoke, they share a drink, they can just chill there. like it's any other restaurant or a place that we all hang out. So that became an interesting space as well. The picture one is Monica and the other person is Jairaj, and this was clicked at a time, I think, by Pardafash, was clicked by her at a time where he was transforming into the goddess, and Shanti will say explain a little more about that.
Okay. Like I know Karaga, I am part of Bangalore, been born and brought up in Bangalore. I didn't know that this Karaga starts from the graveyard. It was very interesting for me to know. And the goddess, they transition. The person who is going to transition to other goddess, like to take the Karaga before taking the Karaga, is Draupadi Amma. And it's very, it said it's very sacred. And I was surprised to see that it starts from the graveyard.
And Shanti, you should talk about how did you talk about how the transition happens from him narrating the story and he takes the avatar?
Yeah, like it's like he gets into this position when he sits down and the turmeric water is poured on him, the binde is kept, he's worn the bangles and all, and slowly the transition starts and the baby gets into him and yeah, that's how it started.
What was interesting was we wanted the participants to also experience carrying the kalasha on their head and dancing. So that was a very fun part of this. And also the thread that you can see that was tied on the bindige, on the, yeah, I call it bindige. I don't know in English. That also was taught to all of the participants who came. They were taught what was put in it and why it was put in it. And it was a very interactive workshop. And this is one video that I would like to show. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was 90 plus years old.
Yes, she's 93.
Okay, yeah. And it was really,
And her
really
name is
interesting.
Bhanumati Rao. She's a dancer,
Bhanumati
Rao.
I'm going to play the video once more and then we'll move to the next one. Moving on. We initially what the plan was with this was to make a small street performance along with the people from the community in KR Market. That was the original plan. And we also had another plan of doing a play that was already done before. We had contacted Veena. Veena is also very actively an activist from the transgender community. She's been the director of Sangama for a very long time. And she was not part of Sangama anymore and she wanted to do something interesting. Although both mine and Veena's interaction started with a fight and it ended up becoming as beautiful as it is. It was interesting for us to, I mean, I never imagined that we would be putting a performance up because each and every person who acted in this play, who are part of the process, was part of the entirety, has never been on stage before. And so I did not have any expectations. I just wanted them to get an exposure into the arts. And of course, keeping in mind the stories that came out of them were from Bangalore because each one of them is based in Bangalore and have very deep connects within the areas and the events in their life that took place in these areas. So it was a really beautiful culmination of these events, of these stories and experiences that came from 9 urban trans women from Bangalore. And the play is called Nava. And we are trying to see, I mean, we're trying to do as much as we can to explore possibilities to show it to everybody, even if it is 1 or 2 stories. Nava is also because we wanted to explore the Nava Rasas. and each of the rasas were chosen by the trans women themselves according to the stories that they narrated. Uh, we collaborated with Sharanya Ramprakash, who only moderated their stories and directed them in terms of into a theatrical performance, I would say. But again, we are nobody to decide what exactly a theatrical performance should be or how it should be. So we were challenged by all of those norms. And of course, this was one of the most challenging projects uh, to execute, um, to also have all of them pay interest into the project for this particular event for almost 5 to 6 months, to get all of them to come for rehearsal. Everyone from the team has really struggled very hard to make this happen. But more, if you want to know more of these challenges, we can chat personally, and I'll tell you. We had the privilege of opening the Rangashankara International Theatre Festival in 2019 with this play, and it was something that nobody could believe. We just went with the flow. We did not expect or anticipate that to happen at all. We did not aim for anything, so we got something to start from. It was, of course, the most cherished experience, also because the opening of the festival was on my birthday. It couldn't get any better. It was just getting crazier and crazier by the minute. Uh, Nava is still under a work in progress, is still a work in progress very much, because a lot of stories can change, a lot of emotions can change. Um, we are still working on different things. In fact, we were supposed to have a show just before the lockdown, and of course, the lockdown happened. We really hope, I don't know when in the near future, that we get to perform for all of you soon. Tara, Shanti, Shanti.
Purnima, I can't see them. Purnima, I can't see them, so I'm not sure their connection. There's a storm in Bangalore right now in some areas.
Yeah.
The power has
Yes.
gone off in some places. As much as I think internet connections are very wonky. So let's just continue. I'll keep a watch out.
Yeah.
If I see them, I will tell you.
Yeah, you let me know. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So moving on, we did the next project, the seventh project, the seventh event at Kempabudi Kere in Chamrajpet. I never even knew that there was a lake in Chamrajpet until Priyanka, who's actually working for Radioactive. She told us about this lake, and she explained how she spent her days as a young boy in this lake, and she had so many interesting stories in this lake. Of course, a lot of them were to do with like lovers and suicides and uh, very interesting uh, as a space in Chamrajpet, especially because Chamrajpet is a very has a very Brahminical settlement in largely, and a lot of people were not very openly sharing, and were not able to be themselves. There were a lot of restrictions, so a lot of people would come to this lake and express themselves, especially people like Priyanka, who was undergoing the transition in her own head about whether she was a trans woman or not. And she had some beautiful stories, and she took all of us on a walk into Kempabudi Kere. And after we came out of the walk, we had a panel discussion continuing something that she's already been doing with Radioactive. She does this show called Yarivaru, which means who are they? And she interviews trans people who are doing something very different in their life, in terms of their livelihood, in terms of their profession. Um, so it was interesting to continue that, and we invited Parichaya, we invited Aishwarya, Purushi, and Nakshatra, who are part of the community and who are doing something very different in their life. Like Parichaya was one of the first trans women to get appointed into Vidhan Sauda to work. Uh, Aishwarya runs her own beauty parlor in Malleshwaram. She's a businesswoman. Purushi, of course, works with Aravani Art Project as an artist. Nakshatra is also part of an NGO that works with the destitute people. So we had all of them conducting the panel, having debates, and talking to each other without any of us interfering in it. So it was a very powerful panel, and it was a very powerful meetup. We had a very interesting exchange and a lot of interesting questions. And unfortunately, Parichaya is no more with us. Due to some challenges, she passed away. And just a week after we did this event, she passed away. But we have her stories and her beautiful memories that we always will cherish. Hi, Shant.
Fine. Hi. Sorry, we are getting trouble and connecting.
No, don't worry at all. Do you want to speak about Nava?
Yeah, like Nava, Shweta can talk, I think. Yeah, Shweta.
Anybody?
The headphone hapo. Nava ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
Hi.
ಮಾತಾಡು ಕೇಳಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಮಾತಾಡು.
ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಶ್ವೇತಾ. ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
ಹೇಳಿ.
ಅದೇ ನವಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ. ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
ನಿಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ನವಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದ್ರಿ?
ನಾನು ಸುಮ್ನೆ ರಿಹರ್ಸಲ್ಗಂತ ಬಂದೆ ಒಂದ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಂದಾಗ ಹೀಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ತಗೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿರೋ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ. ಅವಾಗ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಓಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅವಾಗ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದೆ. ಅವಾಗಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಅನಿಸ್ತು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ದು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರದ್ದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ರ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದೇ ತರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅವಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ನಾವು ಯಾರಿಗೇನ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅದೇ ತರ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಗುವಂತ ತಾರತಮ್ಯ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೇರಿ ನಮ್ಮ
ಸೂಪರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಶ್ವೇತಾ. ಶಾಂತಿ ಕೊಡಿ, ಅವ್ರು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ. Yeah, Shanti will have to translate that little bit and then we'll move to the next project.
Okay, I can hear.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah. Shant?
Shanti, would you like to translate?
Like I was not there.
Yeah, like I gave to the phone to her and I couldn't get what she was talking.
Shanti, would you like, Purnima, do you want to translate?
Okay, so what Shweta meant was that, what, Shant?
No, I was not there when she was talking.
ಅಲ್ಲ,
ನಾವು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನವಾನ ನಾಟಕ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು 9 ಜನ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಜೆಂಡರ್ ವುಮೆನ್ಗಳು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ರು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಥೆಗಳು ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ನಾಟಕ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿಗಳು, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದಿದ್ದು ನಾವು ಆ ಡ್ರಾಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರಿ. ಅದು ನಾವು 3 ಶೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಆ ಶೋ ಅವ್ರ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ರಿಯಲ್ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾಟಕ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ವಿ.
So what Chandri said was that, I'll also translate what Shweta said. Shweta shared that she was pulled into this experience, and she shared a small story, and she feels like she was selected for this, and it was interesting for her that the story that had happened to them was performed on stage, and she feels like she feels the confidence now to be able to move ahead in life, even though she's trans. She feels like there's nothing less in all of them. There's a new pathway that she wants to explore, and that's what she said. Chandri said that 9 people from the trans community shared stories, and all of these stories were what was enacted, and these stories were personal experiences that happened to each one of them that was converted into the entire narrative. ಚಂದ್ರಿ, ಇದು ಪತ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋಣ ಅಂತ ಶಾಂತಿಗೆ ಕೇಳು, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ನೀನ್ ಮಾತಾಡು. Anything about Kempabudi Kere?
About Kempabudi Kere?
Yeah. I already spoke a little bit. You can add a little more.
ಓಕೆ, ಕೆಂಪಾಬುದಿ ಕೆರೆ ನಾನು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಂಗೆ ಕೆಂಪಾಬುದಿ ಕೆರೆ ಇದೆ, ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು ಹಳೇ ಕೆರೆ ರಾಜರ ಒಡೆತನದಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಕಾ ಅವ್ರ ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಈ ತರ ಕೆರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಕಾ ಏನಿದ್ಲು ಅವಳ ಒಂದು ಬಾಲ್ಯದ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಿವಸಗಳನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಳು ಕಲಿತಾಳೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಕೊಲಾಬರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದವಳು ಒಬ್ಳು ಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದು, ಅವ್ಳು ಬಂದು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ಲು, ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಕೃಷಿ ಅವಳು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ.
Okay. Shanti, tell me when you're done, okay? Okay, I'm just going to pause it with Shanti. I'm going to continue to these beautiful posters that were made, these creatives by Sadhana Prasad, the art director of Aravani Art Project, in collaboration with the project lead of that project. Like for Aramba, it's Purushi, Kaban Park Chandri, the Banarghatta Jatre was Hoskote Kumari plus Chandri. Balaji Bar was led by Chandri and Jyoti and Purushi. Nava, of course, was led by everybody in the project. And the Karaga was led by Purushi again. So these creatives were made by Sadhana in collaboration with the project leads. The next few pictures that you see, these were live sketches that were made by an artist called Adviti, who we are collaborating. And Aravani Art Project has worked with Adviti before. She's creating these sketches so that we could convert them into either books, a coloring book specifically with messages in it, so that people know of these spaces and we have documents of these events. Yeah, I think we are at the end of it, and thank you. I am always indebted and always thanking people from the community to let us do so much with them, for them. It's always for them. Aravani Art Project represents people from the community always. I'm never going to be the representative for this community. And apart from founding it, it's not mine. It's everybody else's to take it forward. Thank you all. And I'm really excited to answer some of the questions. I'm going to
Purnima, just stop your sharing.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. Yes.
Thank you everybody from the Aravani Art Project. This has been so fascinating. You know, you've spoken about so many of the challenges. You've spoken about a certain relationship that the society has always had with the trans community and their community with the larger society. And there are so many of these, you know, undercurrents which get expressed in different ways, and you've taken us through all those kinds of challenges. But if I may begin the just start off the question answer session here and then move on to the audience. I wanted to know from all of you, were there specific artistic challenges that you all went through? Were there artistic decisions that you all had conflict over? Because the other kinds of challenges of presenting in different kinds of spaces is what we've already talked about. But what were these challenges artistically?
See, artistically, all of us were, of course, always in a crossroad as to firstly, what form of art could it take? How would it, I would say, what do I say? How would it best represent that event or that story or that space, and which form of art would do justice to that? So that was always a crossroad in terms of artistic expression within the group. Secondly, it was largely about how are we going to make this simplified for the people who are coming to, who are going to participate in this. because there are so many layers, like you mentioned. It was very difficult for us to present just that layer that is presentable. Should we just show what is supposed to be seen? Should we also spill out some secrets that are from the community, because that would also get them into trouble? There are politics involved. And similarly, yeah, it was largely about who would be doing what, and how this what medium of art would be perfect for this sort of a situation. That was usually our confusion. But apart from that, yeah, there were otherworldly challenges that happened.
Yeah, and especially I can imagine with Nava, also there must have been a lot of artistic decisions that you all had to take collectively,
Definitely.
brought into conflict and so on.
Definitely, because
And
as a collective, all of their suggestions were to be incorporated. And of course, when there were decisions that needed to be discarded, we had to give them a proper reasoning as to why it was getting discarded. And sometimes things that they say would not uh, fit in, and again, who are we to decide what fits in? So it was a lot of artistic, I mean, it was a lot of challenge for me, and personally with other projects as well, to know what is it that I can say no to. Because we also assume that this is the only chance that we have. So you all give me all your ideas and I'll try to fit it in with as much as we can. But at the same time, we don't know what some of the ideas might not be worth the presentation. Some ideas might not be presentable. Some ideas might be, while it was like over a drink. So I really can't take it seriously. So yeah, there were a lot of challenges in terms of saying yes and no to a lot of things.
yeah. And the other question I had is actually the contemporary moment, the now moment, and what the pandemic has done to all of us, the world around us that has changed. So, and we all know that the project is still running, right? And
Yeah.
there are you do have plans.
Yes.
How do you think that this moment is going to impact your work in future? What are the challenges that this moment has caused for all of you?
I think the challenges are more than the positives, unfortunately, at this moment, because um, everything I'm telling everybody right now is not to put the community in a bad limelight at all. This is just what is happening on ground, or because we work with the at the grassroots level, with people from the community who are largely into sex work. A lot of them don't have a smartphone to start with. So the only way we can keep in touch is through phone. And over a phone conversation, there is only so much one can do, so much motivation one can give. After working for 4 or 5 years of putting all of them in a track where they all think that there's something worth to look forward to, be artistic about, suddenly this has been a blow, because mentally all of us, privileged people itself, go through so much after having everything in our lives. So I don't even know if I can imagine what it is to be in a situation that they are in right now. Although said and done, we have all been in touch through WhatsApp video calls. We're doing sessions. I have some amazing people taking care of that and doing these sessions. Not just the Bangalore team, we have a team in Bombay, we have a team in Chennai, we have two people in Jaipur. We're always in touch with them. We're doing tie and dye, we're doing natural colors, we're doing self portraits, we're doing origami, we're doing documenting recipes that they are cooking at home. All of this we did over the entire lockdown.
How they see these things. And can you hear me still?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. And it's definitely a challenge now to see how wall painting is going to go forward. Although public engagements and workshops that we used to do in public spaces is not going to happen for a while. But I think wall painting can still continue because we can maintain that distance and still do our work. So I'm not very sad about that. I'm happy that we're going to get to do that. And actually, this lockdown was a break for all of us after 4 years. We've never had a break. So in a way, all of us got time to also rethink about our priorities, about how much and where this project stands for all of us in our lives. Is art the only way forward for all of them? So it was really interesting to go through these. And yeah, as a founder, I am dying, but it's okay.
Just to say that there are lots of audience questions, and if you have to
Yeah,
take
yeah,
all of them,
exactly.
it's going to take. So if we can also keep the answers short and to the point, so we can cover all the questions, because people have been very excited about the project and there's lots coming in.
Yeah.
Um,
Shanti, you're there, right?
Yeah, I'm
Shanti there?
Answer some questions. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So none of the questions are directed towards anybody. So I will leave it to Shanti and Purnima to decide who will answer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The first question is, this project introduced the city in a unique way to the citizens of Bangalore. During your public events, what were the key learnings shared by the public? How did they see the city differently? So any feedback that you got from public?
Yes, lots. So firstly, sorry, with the first, I mean, I don't know which event to go by, but largely what the public has told us was that, oh my God, even the trans women can do these things. Oh, have they been involved in the art field for so long that they are so good at these things? I mean, those were some of the very instant reactions that we got. Of course, the others were very beautiful conversations that some of them have had one-on-one with people. And interestingly, like a place like Cubbon Park, for example, I'm just taking that as an example because we've taken that place for granted. We think we know dog park, okay, chalo, library, but we don't know anything more than that. We don't know the layers that lie there. So people who have been going to Cubbon Park for a long time itself, they were like, oh my God, this is like another parallel universe that existed. And, you know, we never even knew about these things. That was some of the reaction. Shanti, do you have any feedback from the public that you want to share that you've heard of? Of course.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, like what you said was like, yeah, they are thinking, okay, whenever there is a wall art project, when we go there, people just stare at us. And once we start to paint, you know, they come to realize, wow, they can do, and we get appreciation after when we are doing the work. For that, you know what happened when we did the Freedom Wall, like the cop came and was questioning what was happening here and why are you people here? And we said that we are here for painting. We couldn't believe until we finished the work and we were surprised.
ಓಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಂದೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಂತೆ.
Shan.
Oh no.
Can't
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
can hear you. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Okay, you both have to sit in one place because Chandri was not audible.
Okay. Now?
இப்ப பூ கேக்குதா?
Yeah, now
better.
better. Much
Yeah.
better.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಪುರುಷಿ ಮನೆ ಹತ್ರ ಎಲ್ಲಮ್ಮನದು ಜಾತ್ರೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
Yes, Chandri.
ಕೇಳಿದಪ್ಪು?
Yes, Chandri.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಮ್ಮನ ಹಾಡನ್ನು ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದೂರ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹಾಡು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮೆರವಣಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಪ ಊರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಷ್ಟ ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಳೆ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ಸುಮಾರು ದಿನ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಜನ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಹತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು.
Then what happened in Bangla Jatre was like usually thinking that we were there for the function and we were holding the cameras and when we start to take the picture, they were just running away. That was amazing, you know, something when there is this kind of protection. The camera is like a protection for us there, and it felt happy. Like people who not dare to come here to us, that we were clicking pictures, and that was something amazing.
Okay, Chandri, we'll move to the next question, Shant and Chandri.
Yeah, we have about 12 questions to go through. So, yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
I'm going to ask a couple of questions together. Yeah, I'm just bunching them together. So there's a question about, you know, how large is the community in Bangalore, the transgender community in Bangalore, and what is your aspiration for the city of Bangalore? How do you see the future? What would you like to see in the future of the city?
Okay. It's a very
Okay.
Shanti.
I don't, I really don't know the topics because many minds come from other states to Bangalore.
So we can't hear you.
The
We
census
can't hear you at all.
Can't hear you.
Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Very
Yeah,
bad
audible.
audio. Do you want to put off the video, switch off the
Oh,
video
no.
and stay only on audio?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me try that. Let me try.
Yeah, because I
Now-
think then let me stop the video for you and speak now.
Yeah, am I audible?
Much
Yes.
better. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I don't know the real count of Bangalore as a community members. The thing is, every day or every week, every month, every year, the trans community, the migrant trans community from the other state comes to Bangalore.
Yeah.
And I want to share this, that the census count of the trans community has not taken. It is the worst to digest. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shanti?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, Shant.
Shanti, also, would you like to share what your aspiration for the city is? What do you dream the
Aspiration,
city
yeah.
in the future?
Yeah. I want to see more acceptance in the society, non-discriminatory world, without any taboo, without any stigma, and live as a shared community. We are just humans. We all are humans, actually.
But that's okay. That's
Yeah.
not very Bangalore specific. I would add in to say that Bangalore needs to be more. Actually, the thing is that we also take it for granted that, I mean, there needs to be more safe spaces for the community to hang out. And it should not become this huge news that, you know, this is a space for them to hang out. Because again, it would attract the kind of people who want to go and irritate them. So it should be more open, as Bangalore is a very global city, as they say. It isn't very global in terms of the approach, especially by people who've come from the outside. I'm sorry. Especially people who've come from the outside are still not able to, you know, like understand and understand the whole concept of this. So I think firstly, we all need to educate ourselves and stop pretending that ignorance is bliss, because it's not after a point. So mostly for the people of Bangalore who think they're very smart, they have to become smarter, is my answer to this question.
Okay. So the next question is about Karaga, a little bit about the participation of the trans community. And there's a question about how is it different from the mainstream Karaga, so to say, that is performed by men, and is this different and how?
So basically Karaga, even if it is performed by men, I don't know about the mainstream mem performance as much as I know. See, Jairaj, who collaborated with us, is also a man, but he doesn't call himself a cis man fully, because he always likes to take the role of a goddess. So he feels like he's already got the goddess in him, and he's very sure that it is a goddess. It's not a god. He's sure about the gender changing over there. So he's very affluent with that. He's very comfortable with that fact. I'm sorry, I have all the animals in my room today. So go. Divi, please. Just 5 minutes. Yeah. And I think, yeah, so I don't know so much about the mainstream one, of course, that is performed. He also takes the role of a goddess, and I've heard a lot of times that the person who carries the Karaga is also acquainted with the transgender community. So there is, I don't know what you're talking about, performed by men. If it's happening in another state, then yes. But otherwise, I think Karaga as a form has always been very effeminate, and it's performed by men largely. And that's why a lot of them from the community are very comfortable performing this more than, I don't know, men.
Yeah. There's another question about, you know, whether this is to do with the actually the performance of the festival at the RS festival.
Yeah.
And so I quote, "This festival is nothing short of a deeply subversive moment for the urban proscenium specific to Bangalore. This is further emphasized by the fact that the director took on decisions for the scenography to not be co-opted into a hegemonic narrative. This is extremely important that such a historically marginalized space has negotiated and been visibilized, free from the savior complex." So this is asked, and she wants a little more input on this. How was this possible?
Okay, firstly, I'm sorry. This is a lot of English for me to understand. I just want to know, what does hegemonic narrative mean?
So I'm just going to, can I explain this so that
Yeah,
please. Like to,
I'll put in points whenever.
Yeah, I think what she means is that rather than given to dominant sort of narrative stories, and where if you're speaking about the marginalized, you're speaking from a sense of the savior complex, and this particular show did not do that. This particular show enabled the voices to speak for themselves with agency, and that is a very subversive act in a space like that. So I think, could we get more input on this is the question. Probably a little bit about the dynamics of working together with a non-trans director and people from the trans community as part of the team. Maybe a little bit about how the dynamics worked out.
Okay, so largely, as you know, unfortunately in the theatrical language, we've had to call Sharanya the director, and rightly put, it was exactly that. She only directed the stories into an entire form, or into a piece that could be watched. Otherwise, they were just separate stories, and they were all taking their own, they were saying it in their own way, even in the performance, but it just required some sort of a putting together. It needed some sort of a, they had ideas, but they didn't know how to execute it, to be honest. They didn't know how to, because they don't know the language of drama, they don't know the language of theater, they don't know the language of performance, especially when it came to their personal stories. They knew how to narrate the stories, and it required some sort of a styling, it required some sort of a polishing. That is what was Sharanya's role in this whole thing was. And it was important for her to listen to each and every story, to see which story fit into which rasa, which emotion. That's all was her, approach to the whole thing. And of course, it was not easy for us to do this like, okay, chalo, today, let's do, tell us your stories and we'll come up with a play, we'll write you a script. We never even thought of it like that, because we never even knew that it was going to become a play. So to start with, it was just a lot of story sharing and crying and listening and laughing, and just having such a blow of all these stories at one day. It used to be a lot for all of us to take all 9 stories every day, and they were all so deep and experienced, right? So it was very beautiful to see how each one, they only chose some of the stories and snippets of it that they wanted to show. Also, we had to be very careful about what needed to be told. It was very cautious and extremely in consent with everybody in the play to be okay with what has to be shown.
Thanks, Purnima. Actually, we have a very greedy audience. So there are audience members who want to know stories from the play, which I think we won't have time for now. But there's also this lovely question about, as soon as this corona problem is over or under control, are we going to see the play again in Bangalore?
Of course, 101%.
Great. And Purnima, this question is specifically for you. How long did you take to, I'm just quoting it from the question, how long did you take to convince the trans community for this project?
There is no convincing. Okay, so it's so easy actually. This is a very tough question, but it's so easy. So I think if you call your friend tomorrow and say, hey, I want to watch this movie, will your friend say yes or no? Aru, you can answer me.
Okay, yeah.
Will she say yes or no, he or she, when you say, hey, I want to watch this movie?
Well, depend on the movie, really.
Exactly. So this was very similar. I just had to ask, hey, you know, we've got this project and we're all going to do this. How many of y'all want to be part of it? How many of y'all are excited? Everybody came. By and large, of course, Aravani Art Project, I worked on a documentary for 3.5 years. So I got to know the community more deeply in the sense of how they work and how the entire community functions, and how there are a lot of people who are not part of the Hijra society, who are leading an independent life, who are struggling in their own way, and who are artistic, who are very creative, extremely intellectual. And I just felt like all of them were getting grouped into this transgender community and not given any individualistic respect or individualistic approach. So I just felt the need to meet them and know them, and for all of you to know them as individuals, and not just, hey, they're people from the transgender community. No, they have names, they have interests, they have their own likes and dislikes, and I would like all of them to know them like that.
I'll end with actually this question, because I think we're also running, we've run off the time quite a bit. So this is a lovely question. So I'll quote again. I'm really interested in how the lived experiences of the trans community through these events can constitute a new set of knowledge about the city. Do you think this can possibly act as a counter to dominant forms of knowing the city? The usual forms of knowing the city and the louder forms, I guess.
Yes.
What kind of future lives can a project like this have vis-a-vis these new forms of lived experience and the knowledge that they bring forth?
Okay. In terms of what is going to happen to the future of the project, I don't think right now anybody is in a state to make those decisions. But somehow I feel like even like small things like the walk and some of the experiences are something we would intend to do at least once a year sometime, because, and these are things that already happen. We just need to know that when they happen, and we can attend it with the people, with the friends from the community. So it's a matter of our interests also, and how much we want to let this take space in our lives. Just as much as we want to do other things in our life, we would want to do these things. And I think like things like Cubbon Park Walk are something I want to do personally. Like, you know, the whole team wants to do it at least once a year. But again, finances are something that we need to take care of. Maybe it's a small ticketed walk, so that, you know, the people are also like feeling encouraged to do this. And everything else is just going to be documented, and we want to present it at many places we can. But we'll see as opportunity flows in.
Yeah. So there are lots of comments, and even in the question section, lots of kudos to the entire team, to everybody who's worked on the project, and Purnima, to you as well. So I'm just sharing that. I would actually, is Chandri or Shanti online, or have they gone? I can't see them.
Yeah, we are online.
Yeah, you're online, right? So do you want to say anything before I, because this last question that I asked Purnima, I would also like to respond on behalf of IFA before we close. So, but before that, do you want to share anything that you want to, about the project, about something you felt, as a last kind of word on this?
Like, after the corona goes, I want everything to get back to normal, because being at home is like another level stress. Although we are into like every week go into this video call and we stick together as a family, our Vani family. But I want to be in open and paint in the public, and that's what I want to involve in more into. Yeah, that will make me more happy. Hopefully when the corona goes.
Inshallah, yeah, we all hope that we are able to enjoy the outdoors and be ourselves again outside.
Yeah, missing
Yeah.
all those.
ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ IFA ಇದು ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇ ಕೆಲವೊಂದೆಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ನಾವು ಮರ್ತು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ 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 ಹಳಬ್ರು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಎಲ್ಲಾರನು ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಒಂದು ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ತು ನಮ್ಗೂನು.
Yeah, it's like a throwback Thursday for us. Remembering everything what we have did.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ನಮ್ದು 2-3 ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಈ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅದ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ.
Unfortunately, 2 program has been postponed because of this corona. I think hopefully when everything ends, we will bounce back.
ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ IFA ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್.
From the whole team, thank you for IFA for this grant. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure, totally. You know that how much we enjoy this project, totally, from all of us at IFA. I do want to respond a little bit to what Purnima already did, that how will knowing these lives and these new knowledges, new set of knowledges change anything. I think one of the reasons that IFA supports the kind of work it does is to ensure that we enrich ourselves with a sense of multiplicity in every way, so that we can remove our sense of binaries of the world, all kinds of binaries, and are able to see ourselves as well as our relationship with the world in a spectrum of ways. I think this particular project with Aravani Art Project under Project 560 gives us that ability in a tremendous way to be able to see how the city of Bangalore actually lives in such diverse and multiple ways. And at least for myself, I could say, I hope that by being present at some of these events, people start questioning their own relationship with the city. What do they know about the city? How they have stereotyped the city into, you know, either software city or the old city or the new city. But actually, Bangalore, like all of us, is a mix of everything. Mix of the masculine, mix of the feminine, mix of the old and new. So I just hope that the projects we support bring that sense of, you know, living at one time in a sort of synchronized through the multiple times that we also live in, that kind of thing. Sumana, do you want to say anything? Has Purnima left?
Yeah, I think her connection
She's
is
disconnected, so I'm just going to be representing.
Yeah. Sadhana and Sumana, do you want to say anything?
No, I think Sadhana can go on.
I just want to say thank you to everybody for attending and listening to these stories. I think we had so much fun documenting and saying these stories to whoever attended the events. It's great that people want to hear more about it. Like you said, multiplicity, I think it works like this as well. The people who probably couldn't attend are here today, and they could hear the stories that happened over the last year now. So yeah, we'll be back this year again with 3 more events, and it's very exciting. So we're waiting to get back on ground and do as much as we can offline as well. So the experience of it is still there, even if people can't be on ground now because of safety reasons. So yeah, we'll see you at one of our events.
Yeah. On behalf of IFA, we would like to thank all the members and artists of the Aravani Art Project who have been part of our journey with Project 560 in Bangalore. We'd also like to thank everyone who attended the session today. Thank you for being there. And this gives us an opportunity actually to have people from outside the city as well. So a special thanks to them. And please keep a watch out, because this recorded is there a sound from somewhere? Yeah, so the recording of this conversation is going to be on YouTube and Facebook soon. And sorry for the technical difficulties we had with some of those channels today. And watch out for us in another week, 2 weeks. We will be back with Throwback Thursdays with IFA, with another one of our grantees sharing their passion and their project. Thank you so much, and good night.